What have we seen so far? There's a shift in consumption patterns. We have seen that many people are asking for deliveries rather than going out to restaurants to eat. That would only mean that there are more packaging waste that to be expected, especially for food packaging. There's also an increased waste from household sources and reduced waste from commercial and industrial sources. Given that in the Philippines, we were on lockdown and we are slowly easing and opening up industries and commercial establishments. Now, if we look at the waste management under what we refer to as the new normal, we can't highlight enough that waste avoidance should be top priority, and segregation at source is critical to any form of waste management programs. Right now, we are expecting another group of waste or another category of waste that would be coming from the households. These are coming from the masks, and these are potentially infectious. It has to be put separately in yellow bins, otherwise you contaminate the rest of the waste, and the threat of having cross-contamination is even bigger. We can always look at this as an opportunity. We need to source products and packaging locally to help the Philippine economy's recovery. We need to design packaging under the new normal, focused on waste avoidance. What is the industry looking at? We need really to transition from linear to circular, make a decision whether our products should be reusable, recyclable, durable, repairable, or less packaging, or even no packaging at all. There are talks on bioplastics, but bioplastics, one thing that we have to remember is that if we shift to bioplastics, it's important to ensure that there is that industrial compost or treatment at the end of its life. Reusables, again, there is a shift away from reusables because of contamination, but we still have to consider water supply. And then there's recyclables. We have now to look into recyclables, enhancing recycling, whether or not we shift the material into paper, plastic, glass, or even steel, aluminum. We need to look at its end of life, at the end of the useful life of the packaging material.
So I think people came together and invented plastic food packaging to deliver food to the millions of people. And you can see polyethylene and sarin plastics coming out of World War II. But interestingly, and I stand corrected, but interestingly, in the last 20 years, only one new type of plastic has been approved by the US FDA for use in food packaging, and that's something called PEN in short. And the point I want to make from this slide is two things. So plastics, food packaging was developed out of a fundamental need, which still exists today. And when you look at a country like the Philippines, more than 100 million people spread across 300,000 square kilometers, 7,600 islands, how do you provide food in a fast, efficient, safe manner to the people and function of food packaging? And we all know this. You know, it's essentially the fundamental purpose is to protect the contents, to keep it fresh, to keep it safe, and especially again in the climate of Southeast Asia and the Philippines, the humidity, the diverse networks and the challenges of distributing food and getting it stored safely. But again, it's a common disconnect, right? I mean, the consumers are concerned about plastics and packaging waste. You know, you got more than 91%. But at the same time, only half of them or even less say that they're willing to buy something that is contained in recycled packaging. And what we found, the surveys, we split it up between rural and urban. And this may or may not be a surprise, but the rural residents seem to have a slightly lower understanding of what products can be recycled. They are also pretty much focused on reducing and reusing in terms of the 3 Rs. And then the fourth point, again, it's something that was highlighted in our study in 2018, is that nearly half of the consumers, and this is across the board, not just in the Philippines, feel that the government should mandate source segregation as a start point. And of course, enhancing waste collection. And again, in the Philippines, waste collection is not a problem. It's probably the highest in the region, but the problem is what happens after it's collected. And then in terms of the last point, this might be useful to industry, to governments as we go about engaging consumers, education campaigns and things like that, is what are the areas where the consumers feel that they want to know more about.
Earlier, that there are studies that show that, sadly, about 3/4 of the marine litter we see in the oceans are those that have already been collected. So I think what we're driving at here is the problem is really in terms of the facilities of waste management. So after it's collected, what next, right? What happens there? So I think that's really the imperative for us to really craft solutions, not looking at plastic as the problem, but really at plastic waste management as a potential solution to this problem that we're facing. Of course, we are working very closely with several government partners like the LGU of Parañaque, where we are based. And we are working very closely with them to help improve waste collection. PARMS also has a pilot project in Parañaque. We have a pilot recycling facility that we have put some investment in, and we hope will be a showcase if we finally get it at that full scale. We hope that it will be a showcase also for other LGUs to emulate and to see that it is something that can be done and can help really improve the entire recycling infrastructure in the country. That as a company, we are also putting our stake in the game. We made certain commitments, as you have seen, to try and reduce our carbon footprint. We're going to make our packaging recyclable by 2025. We're reducing our total packaging, take out unnecessary plastic, and commit as part of our 2030 long-term commitment to zero net waste. Now, part of our commitment to Ambition 2030. 2025, we have set our commitment to make our packaging 100% recyclable, and this will help further reduce our environmental footprint. And we've also committed, this is in the short term, we've also committed to reduce the amount of total packaging material that we use for our products by 60,000 tons by the end of this year. 65,000 tons by the end of this year.